What's up, everybody? My name is David Jagneaux, aka the Jaggernaut, and today I want to talk to you about Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. This game comes out for all major platforms: Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, etc. My review is based on a Steam Deck version of the game provided by the publisher. All the footage that you see, other than the trailer snippets, are from my own playthrough on Steam Deck, recorded natively directly on the Steam Deck itself. And as always, all my reviews are unscripted, just my honest thoughts as I talk about the game. Ninja Gaiden is a game series that I've been playing ever since it originated back on the NES. I know there were arcade games before that, but I played it originally on the NES, and those are the games that I have the most nostalgia and connection for in the Ninja Gaiden series. I never really got too much into the 3D action games that came out years later. I was more of a traditional retro pixel art action platformer guy. So these games have a lot of nostalgia for me. The soundtrack, the music, the gameplay, the characters, the art style, everything just really hits that kind of nostalgic core in my gut whenever I see it in action. And this game totally captures that same vibe and carries it forward into a new generation. I think it's not an exaggeration or hyperbole to say that I think this might be the best 2D Ninja Gaiden game we've ever gotten. I think it's even better than the originals in pretty much every way, other than maybe the music. I think the music in the originals is still much better than what we have here in Ragebound. That's not to say it's a bad soundtrack. It's very good, but I don't find it as memorable as those original songs from the NES days. And that's really just a testament to how great they were, not saying that these aren't good songs. Something that I really like about Ragebound is the way that it handles the different options. You have so many options here, as you can see on the screen, for accessibility tuning. You can change so many things to make it more palatable for you. I also really like that there's a CRT filter, which is kind of a neat little addition that you can turn on and off if you want to give it even more of a classic vibe. In between missions, you can equip different talismans and different bonuses and weapons and things like that to enhance the gameplay. You unlock things as you find scarabs scattered around the level. So it gives a purpose to all the collectibles, which is really nice to see. I think the gameplay is pretty much what you'd expect from a Ninja Gaiden game, but the cutscenes and characters and writing are particularly good. I think even back on the NES, those games had groundbreaking quality in their cutscenes, the way that the pixel art sort of cinematics happened. So this game definitely carries that tradition forward, but really ramps it up even higher. I really love the two characters you play as primarily here. You mostly play as Kenji throughout the majority of the game, but you do inherit some of the abilities of the other Black Spider clan member that you're seeing on screen. And you get to have some sections where you play as her as well, which is really cool. And I think she adds a ton of personality and flavor into the atmosphere of Ninja Gaiden. Kenji is a very traditionalist, no nonsense, serious in tone ninja guy. And this character here, Kumori, if I remember correctly, I'm not reading anything, so I can't remember, but I think that was her name. She's more of a lighthearted, not whimsical, but she makes jokes here and there, and they really kind of the juxtaposition of those two characters is really nice. It creates a nice dynamic that I really enjoyed seeing in a Ninja Gaiden game. As you can see here, there are some vehicle sections as well, like this motorbike section, there's a jet ski section, all that kind of good stuff. It feels very much like a 2D action platformer, beat 'em up, 16-bit, 8-bit era style game. And I think Dotemu and the Game Kitchen have really done a phenomenal job here. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, as I've said, it's a great game. I think if you're interested in this game and you clicked on this review just to kind of see what it was like, if it was worth picking up, I can honestly not recommend it highly enough. I think it's just exquisite in all the ways that it intends to be. The pixel art is fantastic, some of the best you'll see in this entire genre ever of all time, which is not a surprise because the developers are also the team behind Blasphemous 1 and 2, which has excellent pixel art as well. The music here, like I said, is good, but it's not as good as the originals, in my opinion. Some might prefer the new soundtrack. It is still very good, but like I said, I do like the originals better. I'm sure nostalgia plays a large part in that. I would say some of my gripes about this game is the bosses can sometimes be a little annoying to fight because they're very squishy. They just take so many hits to take down. It gets to the point of being a little tedious in some of these battles after you have to do it a dozen times. Once you figure things out and then you start to get a little impatient, sometimes it makes the boss fights feel more tedious because you just chip away so slowly at their health bar, which I know isn't unusual for this type of game, but it was just a little annoying and frustrating at times. I think one of the great things they did is they added checkpoints throughout the levels. So this way they're able to have levels that are designed to be longer with checkpoints sprinkled in so that you can have the difficulty go up and down throughout the entire level rather than have to balance it across the level so that it's playable and beatable in a single life. There's no life system, there's no continue system here. So having checkpoints sprinkled into the levels is a great feature. Some of the talismans that you can get we can really help you as well. Like the one that I usually leave equipped most of the time, it makes it so that I fully heal every time I hit a checkpoint, which really just makes the game so much more enjoyable for me. There's another really nice talisman that will heal you as you extend your combos of kills, which is really nice. Since a lot of enemies you can take down in one hit, it means that as you're just running through the level, you're going to be constantly healing yourself, which is really cool. There's a lot more moves that you get in this one. I feel like as you can see on the screen, you get projectile moves very early on, as opposed to just simply being melee for the most part. There are special weapons as well, just like the classic ones that you can equip and enable using your pink energy bar that you see at the bottom of your life kind of gauge up there at the top left corner. So overall, I feel like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is exactly the kind of game that it needed to be. I think Ninja Gaiden is back in a big way this year. I think I'm really excited to see Ninja Gaiden 4 and see what that's like. Hopefully, they release a demo of some kind of that one. This game did get a demo, so if you are on the fence, you can check the demo out and see if you like it. But I can't recommend this game highly enough. As I said, I've always been more of a 2D Ninja Gaiden fan, and I think this one is a great return to form. It really blew my mind when I thought about it and looked up their game releases to kind of see if it was accurate. But we hadn't gotten a new 2D Ninja Gaiden game like this in like 20 years. It's been a long time. There was the trilogy on the NES, then we had some ports and, different downgraded versions on Game Boy, Game Gear. I think there was a Master System port. The Super Nintendo trilogy, the remaster remake of the NES games. But since then we never got another 2D action platformer Ninja Gaiden game, which it just blows my mind. It's crazy because as soon as this game went 3D action adventure, they basically never turned back. As soon as it became a hack and slash action game in 3D, with the games on Xbox and things like that, it just never really went back to its roots, and that's to me disappointing as someone that has grown up playing a lot of these games that are now evolving. I think there's room for multiple different subgenres and sub series within these big franchises. I think some of the ones that have been doing this very well are the ones from Nintendo, obviously, like Mario and Zelda do a good job of maintaining different sub series within their main franchise. And I think Ninja Gaiden is popular and successful and just honestly good enough to warrant that sort of love and care. So I hope that we continue to see Ninja Gaiden games being made. And I think we're on the right track here. Hopefully, this game does well. And hopefully, if Ninja Gaiden 4 does well, then we'll continue to see an investment in this franchise. And also, I think if the new Shinobi Art of Vengeance game from Sega does well later this year, it will also rise up the tide of Ninja Gaiden. Sort of the rising tide raises all ships sort of metaphor here. I think we could be into a nice little renaissance going because I think games like The Messenger and Katana Zero really showed that there's a hunger and interest in these sort of 2D action ninja games. That sort of interest and love for this particular subgenre has not gone away. And we are really in a retro renaissance right now. We have games like Marvel Cosmic Invasion coming out, also from Dotemu. Shredder's Revenge was excellent. We have the River City Ransom, River City Girls games. A new Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up is coming out. We've got Toxic Crusaders coming out. We have so many great pixel art games these days, and I'm just really excited that Ninja Gaiden's back. I think as a longtime fan of Ninja Gaiden, as someone that has played a lot of these games, who grew up loving the 2D games, I'm so happy. That Ragebound is great, and I can't recommend it highly enough. Please go check out my full written review over on Forbes, linked in the description if you'd like more details on what I thought. But obviously, as you can see, big fan. Big fan of Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. I really do enjoy this game. I think it's fantastic. I had a great time playing it on Steam Deck. I really do look forward to maybe checking it out over on Switch 2 at some point. But yeah, let me know what you thought of this review. Let me know what you think of the game. Leave a comment and like and subscribe down below. Thank you very much for watching.